homecoming of the Vietnam War veterans was an event that took place at the end of the Vietnam War in 1975. The homecoming was when the soldiers that served in the war were sent back to their families in their home countries, but there was a lot more in this event than just the soldiers coming back. They were abused, threatened, and discriminated against for their service in the war.
"50 years ago, in this room and at this very desk, President Woodrow Wilson spoke words which caught the imagination of a war-weary world. He said, 'This is the war to end wars.' His dream for peace after World War I was shattered on the hard realities of great power politics. And Woodrow Wilson died a broken man. Tonight, I do not tell you that the war in Vietnam is the war to end wars, but I do say this. I have initiated a plan which will end this war in a way that will bring us closer to that great goal, to which Woodrow Wilson and every American president in our history has been dedicated, the goal of a just and lasting peace. As president, I hold the responsibility for choosing the best path to that goal and then leading the nation along it. I pledge to you tonight that I shall meet this responsibility with all of the strength and wisdom I can command, in accordance with your hopes, mindful of your concerns, sustained by your prayers. Thank you, and good night.
Vietnamization was a policy made somewhere around 1972 by Richard Nixon administration that was made to end the US involvement in the Vietnam War by having South Vietnamese people trained to fight in the war while they slowly withdrew small amounts of American troops. This is done by sending the troops different modes of transport provided to them by their countries, such as helicopters. While this was one way Vietnam veterans returned to their home countries, other veterans returned to their countries through boats. By early 1900s, veterans began making pilgrimages to Vietnam.
Booby traps and obstacles with which to grasp the enemy has topped the green earth.
Or a chance to meet their former enemies and make peace.
When I landed at the San Francisco airport, I was spit on. I was called a baby killer.
Well, it hurt everybody's feelings. People were against the war, so they were against us, basically.
And I couldn't never understand that.
So I went in the men's room, took off my uniform, threw it in a garbage can, and put on civilian clothes to wear the rest of the way home.
And all we were doing is the job that we were asked to do. You know, hold it against American people.
I was not one of these guys that wore fatigues or wore t-shirts or anything like that after Vietnam. I just figured that was a chapter in my life that was over.
We all know that during the Vietnam War, the troops returned home during the course of the war individually. For many people who never had the opportunity to let them know how they felt. It is therefore my distinct honor to offer you a long overdue welcome home to the United States of America after each of you well and faithfully served our great nation at
sea. In conclusion, the homecoming was a significant event from a post-Vietnam War era that had many different other events that led to it and more. Considering that the war went on for 20 years and a large number of people did not want to be there, they were treated very poorly by the general population and media back home in Australia, which led to some soldiers to go into hiding and to not talk about their involvement in the war.